to some lovely programming again. Sorry, I forgot to set up the music, so I'll get that done now. So it's gonna be eerie for a moment. Just bear with me. But yeah, no. I will say now. So I talked about this last time. I was probably gonna get a lot of work done between last time and this time, and that's true. I did not get anywhere near enough done between last time and this time. Where is it? I do not know why that's... That's not... What? Okay, come on. Hide that for a moment while I get the music actually working properly. Okay. I don't even know where it's referencing from. It's referencing from videos I watched on the computer like fucking hours ago. Okay, weird. There. Somehow working now. Just needed to switch to the next song, I guess. The previous song didn't have a thing for it. Right, so is it going to actually change correctly? Yes. Okay. There we go. Whoops. Oh, fuck did you end up over there? Don't mind it sneaking past there. just don't mind me. Alright. Oh. Sorry, that was a fucking mess to set up. So, how's everybody doing today? Hope everyone's doing a lot better than I am at this rate. Good lord. Okay, so the intentions for today. We've got a couple of things. So overall, a lot of optimizations have been made to the game because I did give it to a group of I basically open invitation to the game for anyone in my course to touch upon, and a couple of lecturers did even, so they gave some feedback. They like the short answer is almost all of them just like the game, and then they want to see where it goes. Now, I did see a question on the previous stream that I feel like I want to clarify. So someone asked, is this a VShoujo game? like VShoujo holocure is how they phrased it, which again I want to stress, while holocure is an inspiration, is not the sole purpose of the game to be a holocure clone. In fact, I have a lot of things I want to do that is very not something that they seem to have wanted to do, and it's not because I want to do something different, it's because that's how I intended to do it from the beginning. Now, if we were to go by that, Vox is Niji Sanji, Iron Mouse is VShoujo, Juniper Acts is Indie, Merryweather is I mean, he's kind of indie? I don't know. Katon is VShoujo, Nina is graduated Niji Sanji, Aura is indie, Booby is indie VShoujo. It's a bit weird. It's basically under Iron Mouse, and Gura is Hololive. Hololive EN to be precise, obviously. So what I mean by this is, and I said this in the response comment to that, this is an homage to the broader community of VTubers. And something that I've always loved about the VTubers is just how wide, how broad the community is, and how many different kind of approaches there are to it. So in short, I actually just like VTubers in general. I think they're cool. I don't subscribe to a specific like company and only watch their content, and I do watch indies. Like, again, every single one of the people here outside of Aura, because she's yet to debut, I watch or have watched their content at some point. I follow along with a lot of the stuff that they do. It's the same with everyone on my list, per se. Now, this is what the game looks like. I think this is where we left it off last time, more or less. I think I've done a couple of tweaks since. Some cleanup. I'm still playing with a lot of like minor details at the moment. Now, one that I want to show that I've managed to do, so I'm going to use the debug for this. As you can see, I'm just force leveling. Trying to pick ones that I've already got to make it easier to find it. There. So, if you look at Mothaholic, you'll see increases cooldown rate based on player level. So this is always what it did, by the way. It just never had a description before. Now, if I level up again and find it, you'll see that it says something different. You can't quite see all of it, but it now says increases cooldown rate and movement speed based on player level. And then if we try and find it again, there we go. Increases cooldown rate, movement speed, and area based on level. Now, I can't level up anymore because I use the debug tool. Because it really, really breaks what happens. I honestly have no good description. Oh, also, I've lowered the boss number again to do testing with him, because apparently it was really buggy. What I did with that, yeah, here's another bug that I need to fix, and this is actually kind of going on to what I was what I'm about to talk about, or what I was starting anyway. Yeah. So what I've done here is I've finally implemented description changing. So description changing, basically how this was always implemented. If we go back to the UI, go to menu, new menu, and go to menu scripts. When an upgrade would occur, so some of this has been changed to accommodate what I've done, by the way. Some of the, like, the level zeros have now been moved into the main change system. Right. Was this stayed the same? If it equals description, just set it, not add to it. Now, that is that has always been the intention. But I've just never implemented it. Because the idea was that I wanted to obviously have it showing kind of how it actually scales in a broad sense for now. I do eventually want to add 2 descriptions and have you be able to toggle between them. One is the description that gives you exact numbers, and the other is the description that just kind of gives you the broad explanations that is currently what happens. Like, Iron Mike deals damage based on healing. It's like, yeah, but exactly how much does it do? And it's like, okay, well, here's that description. So what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start trying to facilitate that a little bit, clean up some of the weapons as I go, because that's the other thing is a lot of the weapons were made, like, to give an idea, before this project was actually like anything substantial. Back when this project was basically bare bones at best, I made the umbrella. And that is why there is a lot of bad programming around the umbrella. Because if I actually go through, I think I've removed some of it, but overall this doesn't actually fully work properly. In fact, there's a lot of elements to this that do not work properly. But it kind of is patched together just because of the knowledge that I had at the time. But there is some values here that shouldn't be the way they are, and there's so much more that needs to be done. As well as I still need to go through and rework all of the time source adding to the new system that I devised with this. Which, trust me when I say this is not as complex as it looks. We worked on this, was it last week or something like that? The idea behind this is simply, this finds an empty slot in the time sources for the items. It puts this in and it starts it, and what this does when it's done is it deletes itself. It basically just removes itself from the list, then it runs itself again. So by doing that, it actually means that it's consistent, because the problem is if I tried to reference the specific time source, I'd never actually get the correct time source. And all I would be doing is probably perpetually creating more and more time sources, which then eventually could lead to a memory leak. Which, short answer is, a memory leak is the memory usage just keeps piling up and up and up and up for no, and inflating for no good reason other than something's running when it shouldn't be running. And it potentially could lead to a lot of other issues. Ugh. Now, I know that so far today has been like 20 minutes of me almost 20 minutes of me just talking about stuff that we might do today. I'm not even going to be able to say that I can definitely guarantee we get everything done today. And if you don't like that, I'm sorry. However, so I also want to mention, right, going actually to this, there is a way I could make this better. And, well, I wouldn't even say better. I could make it so it doesn't have to delete itself. What I do with that is I do all of this instead inside of the function as a default. And then instead of deleting itself, I set so the time source adds to itself. But the problem, there's a lot of problems with that. For now, I'm doing this because this just cleans it up and gives me a simpler approach. However, I would consider the other approach later down the line, maybe, if I found that this was being too resource intensive, because the other way would be less resource intensive, but more likely to cause problems. And something that you'll learn with programming is based on Murphy's Law is, and it's not quite the if it can go wrong, it will go wrong. Like that's another law. No, the law of Murphy's Law is that it will always be the worst outcome. Programming is like that. Programming is the definition of program for the worst outcome possible. I am programming to avoid memory leak, and I am programming to avoid weird errors with gaining the information. Now, don't get me wrong, I will also say this looks really jank. I need to make that better, but we'll get to that later. Now, first things first, I want to go into here because I believe this is where I have it in here. So now I think this is very far off now. So now I need to add a caveat for description. And okay, so there's another thing I want to actually change about description, and I need to go find all the locations where description is pulled. Oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Control Shift F. Okay, so all of the player equipment. Yeah. So string 2. So there's going to be a way that string 2 is outputted that I need to change. Yes. So what I'm doing now is something that I should have done a fucking long time ago. God, there's a lot of things I need to clean up. Alright. Is I am going through, because this was a bit of a remnant of an old problem I had that we fixed at one point. And I never cleaned it up. Which is these extra brackets on the sides of descriptions. Now, the reason why is because before, the way I was handling these being written out, it was easier to control how long the text was with... Sorry, I'm half thinking on this and then yeah. It was easy to control it by with an array stuff. But it was difficult to just have it as multiple arrays inside of the same thing because of the way that this works. So I had to make an array, then make inside of that multiple arrays. And that's where you're starting to get to why like there's double bracket around it. And straight up, it was really bad. It's a system that I very much regret, and now I have no reason to keep it. So again, kind of a bit of cleanup duty here. So what I want to do is I also want to make a default variable in these that is the base description. Now, before I go into doing that, I'm going to keep doing this, get all of these cleaned up. And then I'm going to test it. I have to do all of them, otherwise the ones that I haven't done will crash. If I just did it correctly, which I should have. But like this one, for example, this would be a great example of one to have level up changing its text, because it increases each time, so therefore it should kind of show how much it increases by. Or at least in my eyes, that makes the most sense. But like this is kind of what I mean by like, this does not give you details, this just gives you a raw kind of like idea. Now these ones would not change with March. Like, I also still probably want to make a description where it's like gives detail and then not detail, so this will literally just say increases your overall damage, increases your overall movement speed, increases your total health. Right, if we run now, do we have errors? Because of the stuff that I changed. No. Okay. The fuck is this? Oh, yeah. Alright, so with that being done, now I probably want to make the default descriptor value. Now, there is an argument to be made here. Should I even have the description say anything? Now, I'm pretty sure this works. If this works, then it's fine. Whoops. I thought I did not highlight that far. Yes, okay, cool. This is what I'm gonna do. Now, you might be wondering, why do you have to do that? Because you've got level 1 already putting in a description. Well, that's because... what happens when you don't have a weapon equipped? What level do you think a weapon that's not equipped is? Should be really obvious, it's right there. 0. This is how I ensure a lot of safety things. I could make them a level 1, but it would be really... it would genuinely be more complex at this point to make them level 1 than to have them as level 0 and then just have a much more like consistent path for readability at least. Which again, that is a very massive part of programming, is readability. I wonder how well I can do this. No, I can't do that. Okay. So I just now need to go through and do this. It's a relatively simple job. So again, what I'm doing here is I'm creating a default description. I'm setting the description to the default description. And then what I'm going to do in the unlevel up system that I have in the when I room swap, which yes, I had. Okay, this sounds really weird and it may not make sense to people. Because of the way I have this, I have to unlevel them up. I could... maybe I should do that. I could make a class structure that might be actually just straight up better. No, if I make a class, then I'd have to do, oh god, that might be a long-term thing. I'm gonna say that now. If I do decide to change to a default to a class system, do not expect it to be anytime soon. Because I could probably actually show Visual Studio. I can show a little bit of one of the assignments I'm working on. And show kind of what I mean by a class. Okay, this is a really bad example because I haven't actually finished working on that one. Okay. So let's go here. So we'll open up the main for problem set here. Okay. So what I mean by a class is if we go to, so it would be spell header. This is a spell class. Don't worry too much about the programming in it. What this basically does is it has a constructor, has a protected variable, and has a deconstructor, and then just some default variables to be used. So get dimensions just pulls some stuff. If I open up spell cc, this is actually where like the functions are. I write them in the header and then I put them here. So yeah, the get dimension just returns the dimension, and then the calculate area returns 0 because it's a default. So I can actually change it. Now, if we go to square, you can see that it's got public spell. What this means is that it is it's parenting from that class. So this one's a child of spell. And it means that when it does stuff, so you see it's got an override here. If I go to square square CCP, you can see right now when it creates the square, what it's actually doing is it's creating a spell, but it's changing the calculation for the area. So this means if I go to the debugger and launch it, oh, bugger off. You can see that the square has an AoE of 64 and the circle has an AoE of 78. And if we go back to the main CPP, you can see that the circle has a radius of 5.0 and the square has a side length of 8. So this is what I could potentially do with the weapons instead. And they would be much more efficient, because what I'm doing now is like a step behind that, if that makes sense. and it would probably just be better to do it. But it would also require a massive overhaul to what I have done so far. One that I'm not willing to do until I have things more guaranteed to be safely working, if that makes sense. I know a lot of what I'm saying may seem kind of spooky or scary or like doesn't make sense, or to those that it does make sense to, I'm over explaining it and oops, okay, making it like sound more grandiose than it actually is. In fact, it shouldn't be, overall it shouldn't be like the end of the world to convert a lot of this, because it would just be I'd need to make a rewritten form of everything, and then I would just need to take what I've made already and put it into that. So all I need to do is basically make a new file and start from the ground up. But one thing you'll learn with programming, if you ever do go into learning it, it is best to first make the damn thing work, then make it do the interesting stuff. Then you go, once you get it working fully, then make cool refinements like that. Now there's an argument that I should have... Okay, what I'll say to, also in response to what I just said, because I feel like I actually need to explain that now. I do not need to make default descriptions for those because they don't change. Okay, and then I go back to here. Now, sorry, I'm gonna blank out for a moment because I'm gonna be trying to remember some stuff. Level up name. Actually, no, I should just do not description. And then just set the description to the default at the end. Yeah. Way cleaner. Okay, and then, so that's going through the levels, so I need to do it here. Alright. This is why I've been changing these to like this style, because it's way, I actually accept that it's way easier to read it like this. Because I can actually see exactly where things are. Yeah, so right after this, Yeah. Again, someone might tell you, oh, but this is unoptimal, right? You're taking up additional lines of code to do this. I swear to God, I hate this because I have to use this argument a lot with people. The difference in having this on the next line than having up here is so fucking non-existent, right? Because when the compiler goes, so this is where all that would affect is the compiler, and what the compiler does is it just sees that and ignores it. It just moves on. In fact, fun fact, these variable names I have, that's not what the compiler actually reads. The compiler makes its own names. I could make a name 100 words long and it would do nothing different than having it 2 letters long. That's because the compiler will assign its own fucking name to it. Pure under most situations. I know for Visual Studio C++ that is the case. So it's just a situation of, what is worth it then? To try and make yourself feel better by making short variable names, or make readable variable names. All right, now this should work as I expect it to. I'm gonna test it out a little bit. The only one I can test it out with, oh, hello. It's not set before reading, default description. What? Object controller main. The script player 16. Okay, so I can't do that then. That makes me a little sad. Okay. I mean, it's not the end of the world. I can just do this. I was hoping it would work. It didn't give me an error until compile, so, you know. I think it's because, I don't know, like, these structs are very, very strange to me. They're not what I'm used to now. And that's why I do kind of want to overhaul them, but like overhauling them to what I'm familiar with will take a long time because I'll need to be undoing and redoing a lot of things. Again, I would prefer to make the game playable then do that kind of optimization. And at the moment the game's not playable, so you know. Okay, if I try and launch now, do we have the same issue? No. Okay, so the easiest way to test this Mothaholic, quit, start. Yeah, I know where that's the case. Cool. Okay, I think I got that to work. Now, if you're wondering why that had the weird brackets, it's because I didn't remove them from up here. It's that simple. Okay, so now I can actually make rolling descriptions. But I do want to probably do that. Again, this is why I kind of want to make something more clean than what I have currently. Just basically what I'm doing is making structures and then putting them into a list. Now I call those lists. Okay. Now, I've a query in my head. So, typically in games, there's a weapon that's kind of like the Iron Mike, right? Vampire Survivors has garlic, and Holocure has spider cooking, right? Do you think, because the idea behind it in this game is to give you a item that deals damage based on your healing straight away, and I'm wondering if the bar for entry for it is too high. So this is something that I have thought about a lot. At the moment, it deals 1 damage, excluding global amplification and baseline amplification. It does 1 damage per pulse. Is that fair? Does that basically mean you're in a situation where if you don't have any healing, you'll never want to take this, which is kind of fine in my opinion, but what happens if you take this and never get healing? Now that might sound like a bit of a weird kind of explanation, but like, is it wise to have a weapon that is so heavily reliant on other mechanics or other items to get it going? Because like, I stand by, this is why I want to have the healing passive is Iron Mouse's passive. So I always kind of had this envisionment of dealing damage based on healing and healing regularly. And that kind of being like an interesting build, like the cyclical engine, where like you're constantly dealing out damage, healing for the damage you deal, and all that, and just perpetuating your damage and improving it. That's why there's no lifesteal in the game. That's straight up like you heal for the damage you deal. You heal for dealing damage is what I'm aiming for if I'm ever going to do stuff. Flat values. Because just imagine if Iron Mike, like you got something that healed you for 10% of the damage you dealt, right? You deal damage to more than 10 enemies, that spikes it infinitely. And especially with something like Multiholic, where you get a large area of the screen, all of a sudden we're starting to get into a situation where it's like, yeah, you can see that happening. And you can see that scaling infinitely into a point where it just one-shots everything. And if you run at enemies at that point in time and just make sure that you have more than 10 enemies in the kind of sphere, you keep doing that until a boss turns up and they're gone. Just done. That is something I want to avoid, right? That is something I am very much against. Don't know if damage is based on I mean, like, at the moment I don't have anything such as resistances existing, but that's why, like, going back to it, it's just that's why I'm choosing healing at flat values. So the healing over time effect that heals at an exact 2 health, not scaling off of anything, because that just would get too egregious too quickly. The other one that doesn't work properly is supposed to heal off of dealing damage, but it heals a flat value. I think it's like fucking 2. This one. Chance 10% heals for 2, and then it increases slightly. That's kind of my thought. And again, it's just that's why I want to avoid percentage healing, or if I add percentage healing, it would be in a way so it can't interact with the Iron Mike weapon. Because that's the big difficulty. Is if I make that weapon the way I have, and keep it the way I have, it becomes potentially just like this ginormous, impossible to deal with scaling weapon. Now, where was I with things on my list? I've done all of that. I guess we could start working on boss mechanics and actually making the boss do something. And like make a game over screen. Wouldn't be the end of the world. I could probably actually get rid of like my old menu stuff just about at this point. Outside of the pause menu. The pause menu still uses the old menu control. Do we want to make... I'm just thinking. Let's see. Yeah, like, again, there's nothing against having an OP weapon, right? I take the Unreal Tournament approach to balance a lot of the time. Whereas if everything is OP, then nothing's OP. And it can lead to wild and extreme situations happening constantly, which can just... that sounds fun. I think at the moment, like, even with the game as it is now, if everything was actually working correctly, I think Iron Mike's still probably the best weapon in the game. And that's without, like, percentage healing. That should say a lot. I do think if you basically had the healing over time and the healing on hit, and then got the Merryweather weapon, which also has healing on hit, I genuinely think you would be fucking singing with the fairies, right? It would just be too much to deal with. But like, that's already explaining to, you need an additional weapon, you need 2 other abilities, and preferably all of that maxed out, including the main weapon, for a combo that would primarily deal with large groups of enemies, maybe not deal with bosses as well, because bosses are intended to have like obscene health pools. Not like slog it out health pools, but like health pools that mean that there is a difference between targeted damage and non-targeted damage. That's what I'm kind of aiming for. Right, so I'm gonna try...
Understand what's going on here.
No, I don't think that's what I want. Is that?
Give me a break, give me a break.
No, I think this is what I want.
I don't understand what's going on here.
My cat's in the beanbag? One of them is. Show quickly.
Give me a break, give me a break.
She's fallen off it a fucking again. Right. So she can. Oh, look! She's on the fucking edge of it! I swear. Alright. Also, yes, I know the music disappears when I do that. It's because I haven't set up the other thing to actually have music. Different scenes and all that. Right,
What's going on? What's going on? What's going on?
No, maybe I should go with the other one.
I don't understand.
Because it's already set to left hang line, right? So I just need to make it so... I think this is incorrect.
I don't understand what's going on here.
Was that a music sheet on my left side? Oh, you meaning this? I think I dropped my pen. Because this was right next to me, right? That's what you're talking about? No, that is my notebook. If I can show a bit of this, but like my writing is terrible, so. This is the description of a lot of the mechanics. That's why I can show this, because you won't be able to read it. No, that's just my normal notebook. Like, to give an idea, this is me writing for one of my assignments. Where's the camera? Yeah. Like, I can put that there, and you'd probably not be able to fucking tell what it says. Especially now I think it's inverted from memory, because it's actually my right side. This is my right hand, this is my left hand. I know, it's probably gonna fuck with you. If you're actually wondering, and I'm being very serious about this, if you ever wonder why I have it that way, it's because that's where my second monitor is. So I want to be able to actually look at my second monitor, but not have it so I'm looking away from the center of what I'm looking at. So when the camera's on the other side, I invert it again, which I know led to a lot of confusion at one point. It's like, why does your room keep switching around? No, it's 'cause that's just not gonna work, is it? Yeah, no, I'm trying to think. Alright, this isn't what I want here. This. I think this is what I want. I have very fancy looking writing, if you're wondering. That's why that looks so fucking thing. Okay, how does this look inside of the thing? Okay, well, that's not right. Do I remove that? At least it's up there correctly. That didn't look right still. One piece at a time, so I need to make sure I get the height done correctly. Because at the moment they're just stacking like that. So first we're gonna move it over a little bit. Yeah. But if I, because that was the thing. Sounded like my the song. Oh, yeah, I can kind of see that. Okay, so then that just doesn't work there. Oh, I know what's happening. It's because of that. Okay, so I need to then minus, no, divide by 2. That's not right, right? Probably far too much. Yeah, because then it just scales off obscenely. I need to... I think I need to minus it after the times. Yeah. Okay, it's close to being correct. Give it 25. Yeah, that looks about right. Okay, now for the width. Okay. That kind of sits it about right. Okay, now we just need to fix this part. No, it's still scaling obscenely. Because if I remove that, are all of them gonna change to being... Oh yeah, that's a good point. I'm an idiot. Alright, try that. No wonder it's scaling exponentially. Alright, that's too much. And not too far, not far enough over. And someone I know is playing Dishonored too. One day I'll play that game. That's too far, but that is basically perfect for the height. Just a little too far. Keep in mind that what I'm doing now is probably just a temporary answer. I do want to probably change these away to something slightly nicer. Yeah, see, that's kind of where it starts becoming a bit nyeh. And I should be careful because obviously, like, what happens if I make too long of a weapon name in the future? Yeah, and that one comes down a little too far. I could bring the small text into a bit of better of a range. But yeah, I think because creative slash fiction is basically the longest weapon name I have, that fits. So that looks fine for now. If I was to change something, it genuinely would be the size of the title text at this point. And then there's what I would probably be changing the most. Alright, so we have a little background for it at least now, which makes it look a little bit nicer. If I go here, what was your 9 slice? If I 9 slice like this, does this look better? Kind of, if I change the text sizings. Okay. I'm going to turn this into a transformed. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull all of this over to there. And we're going to change these to be slightly larger. Oh, whoops. Then that means I can bring these up a little bit. All right. I think I've got more or less the right direction to go with a couple of the things that I intend. So now I can probably add quite easily icons if I wish. It wouldn't be too far out of the range of things. Sorry, I'm thinking about a lot of things and I'm also looking at my notes from time to time. Like at this point in time, the main thing I need to work on is better fucking UI again. So what I want to work on the most, I think, is turning the stuff over here, the weapons and item stuff. I want to turn that into visual aid stuff instead now. However, I don't think that's a feasible option because I need to have a sprite for every single weapon and item. And also in the process, I'll probably need it for the stat ups as well. Which is something I can't do on stream because that's a lot of art and that's going to take hours to get all of that done. Because I think only one weapon has a thing. Two weapons have icons. The umbrella and the feather. The fucking umbrella one looks so jank comparative. Fun fact, by the way, I think I drew this first, then I made the other sprite, which was that. Yes, it is one of my highest definition sprites for a weapon by a long shot. I literally just rotated it and that's where we got to with this. I rotated it, tweaked it, and cleaned it, and that's what we have. I actually felt quite proud of this. It's based off a lot of pixel art feathers that I saw. Ah, yes, the good old test weapons. I think that one's not mine. I think I made that one, and that was the slash one that I've used before. The feather looks better. I mean, yeah, it's like, you wanna know why the feather looks better than the umbrella? This is 24 by 24. This is 64 by 64 pixels. It's over double the amount of pixels used. This was literally, you wanna know how I made this? I stole it from the back of this, and then I finished it off. That's genuinely what I did. If you look at it there, right? So that's why I look shit. I'm not kidding. This was the first one I ever did. And I did it in a fucking rush and a half. This, again, though, I did this before I even made the weapon. Because I used this to make the other sprite. As well as I was getting, maybe close the umbrella. I mean, I'll be honest, that's not what I intend for the umbrella to look like by the end. I intend the umbrella to still be probably open, but it's going to actually have some of the cherry blossom petals in the icon as well. It is just a placeholder, so do not have high expectations of it. It's supposed to look trash. If I wanted to make it look good, I would have made it already to look good, but I don't have the time. And that's why, like, those are the only two sprites I even have. I haven't actually gone into sprite creation yet for the icons, I should say. Sprite icons. Okay, I was going to look for... here. Like, closing the umbrella and then having the particles around it again could work. Like, there's a lot of options. I haven't put in a lot of effort to thinking about it because it's just not been a priority. And that's why I say, like, there's so many things I would be working on first before I work on those icons. I'd be finishing working on the particle effects that I've got already in the work. For some of the weapons, and then I'd work on the icons. And then I'd make it a rule that every time I make a weapon, I need to make the icon at the same time. Or I'll make a batch of icons and then I'll make the weapons as I go. And just use placeholders as I can test the weapon. Kind of like what I've done with the slash at the moment. Alright. You know what I'm going to do now is I'm going to actually start implementing this new time source code. Actually, no, I'm going to clean it up before I implement it. Because I don't want it, like, fucking weirdly bridging out like it was. Okay, this should be malleable now. All I need to do is just replace this. And then... Actually, no. We keep this as seconds, but I'm going to make it every 10th of a second. Jesus. Actually, don't I have this on level up? No. I wonder if I should change that. Me and my partner, I talked about this yesterday. It's just such a fucking mess at the moment. I don't want to go too much into it because again, like, that kind of is a breach of her privacy as well. But the short of it is that she's the household I'm in, the other people that are in it, including the flatmates and such, are making very, very bad decisions, which is driving me up the wall, and some of that is reflecting on her. We had a big issue earlier this year around May, June. And we kind of resolved that. However, now, again, it's just, I'm getting stress from my uni, stress from the other people, and I'm just getting no break. And I think that's falling back on her. And it's difficult because we kind of made up, kind of didn't. And now it's starting to look like it was probably a bad idea we made up, at least in the environment that we're in. So at this point in time, I'm just looking for a good answer to change the environment I'm in. Because I'm getting told I'm abusing people, but when I explain what's happening to other people, it sounds like I'm actually the one getting abused. So, you know. I appreciate my friends yesterday for listening to me do a bit of a spiel after stream. And it's just, it's really difficult to deal with all of this stuff, because just the description I can give is I'm just so tired at this point. Like, I have so much on my plate, and then I'm just getting other bullshit. And when I said I want, like, so I talked about this. The one flatmate that I let in earlier this year, I've come to regret that now. I should never have let them in. They're constantly making mistakes and causing problems and not being the first to apologize or anything. And like, these mistakes may be minor, but they're collective. They're constant mistakes of negligence, of just not caring about anyone but themselves. Not bothering to pay attention. And when I said I want them gone, because of the weird position that I'm in, I technically have the right to kick them out because they're the one, they signed the contract with me. But I know that that would just end poorly. And it's just gotten to a point where, like, I invited them in because they were a friend, and now I don't think I can ever stomach being around them for long periods of time. And it's just getting worse day by day. And I've stressed this to the theoretical head tenant that's actually now kind of stepped up, but now has made even stupider decisions. So that's more or less what it actually looks like, and that's kind of the problem with it all. So yeah, that's why like I was in just such a foul mood yesterday, because this is where I'm at. Like, I don't want it to be this. I just want to not have to deal with everyone else's problems and then being called the problem the rest of the time. Being treated like the sole reason that things are going wrong. I'm sorry, that was really a bit of a downer thing to talk about. If given the chance, I think that me and my partner could possibly have something again together, but that window is becoming more and more narrow as the days go by and the situation perpetuates. Because I'm just becoming a worse and worse person. Like, I genuinely, I don't even know if you can even tell in the streams, but I've just been getting more and more, I do my best not to have it impact the streams, but I genuinely do get more and more, tired of just people's shit. This needs a full overhaul, so I won't even bother adding this in. So yeah. I know it was a bit of a depressing turn, but like that's just, yeah, it's how I feel. And I'm not even saying that the rest feel like this. I'm fucking, at this point in time, I'm pretty sure they all think I'm the fault. Like, I've refused to apologize for yelling at one of them the other day, and that's just because if I apologize again, it's just gonna keep being this. It's just gonna keep being, I get fucking constant fucking, all these constant things going on. I snap one time. And then I'm the one at fault. Like, I'd be willing to apologize if I wasn't the one apologizing first every time. But no, they said that they fear for their lives dealing with me, so it's like, we'll leave then. You're putting your history, your personal biases above what you actually know me to be. And by doing that now, basically like guilt other people into thinking you're the one that's the victim. And knowing that fucking the head tenant's also got a huge victim complex streak, I'm just really fucking sick of it. Like, I ran this household for months, years, basically, and it worked. I invite this person in, it worked for a little while, and then stuff started to fall apart, and it just continued to fall apart since. And it's clearly my fault. According to what they say, anyway. Ugh. On to brighter news. Okay, I think the time sources are now sorted. Except for the, this thing. I want to test it with one of the weapons at least. But I want to make sure I pick the dev fucking unit. I stand by, this character is how I test just about everything because she is because of the way the weapons work, it's just too good. Most reliable AoE has healing. Be nice if I actually saw a weapon in the bloody upgrades. Okay, well this technically should be a test for it. Fuck, I get one of the ones that actually doesn't work. Okay, pause. It seems like it's working. By the way, this goes to show how bad things are working. The boss died and the game's not over. So the gameplay loop isn't even actually functioning right now. And if I die, the game's gonna crash, I believe. I need to change how Mothaholic works, I think, in the program, so it does actually trigger when level up occurs. And not on a timer, because it could potentially lead to some weird stat distribution changes, and it could potentially bug it out and actually make it go negative. Like decrease how much it gives instead of increase. Or keep it exactly at the same, something like that. It just, I know it won't be working correctly. I'll be honest, fucking talking with any, like, of those, I've done that shit in the past, and it... I'm very sick of dealing with a bunch of fucking twats that I have to pay an absurd amount of money for, and they're just stupid. I have been put on medications, I've been all sorts of stuff. Like, the best fucking, doc I ever had for that shit basically just told me straight, these are the problems, and I don't have a fix for you. Not just because of all of the stuff that's going on with your body, with all of the things, nothing would work. And I can give you stuff to try and help, but at the end of the day, like, to give an idea, the last one I fucking talked to said, oh, it's because you breathe too fast. So, yeah, no, I do not think that's gonna work. In fact, I just stand by, like, talking to my mates, and, I have some very good friends. I'm some very, very good friends, and I'm very thankful to have them. Because they're there for me when I need them. Okay, so I think I have an idea, right? what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make another trigger. This shouldn't have a trigger, right? Yeah, it doesn't trigger on here like it triggers thing. Right, yeah, so level up means that when it's leveled up, it does the effect. What I want to make is as or leveling. Right. And then with this, I can change it away from a time source. Make it better. Okay, and then I'm gonna add a -1 there. This means I don't have to have a global variable for this, which makes it way better. Okay. And then I need to make... So I think it's in the player controller when they level up, right? Yeah, here. I do think, though, I need to do it in the menu. I don't know. Oh, look, again, it's just... I don't like bringing it up on stream because of kind of this fact. It's like, it is a bit of a private life stuff, and there's no real good way to advise for it unless you know full context. That's why, again, like, I appreciate my friends because they sit down and listen with me, and I don't want to go too much into my private life on a public platform. I'm not speaking poorly to you there, Drakian. Like, you've been a swell fella in the streams and stuff like that. It's just that's kind of my mentality. Is like, this is a public video. This is gonna stick around forever. So everything I say stays on the internet somehow. That's why I don't want to go too detailed into the problems of other people, because like I could fucking completely ruin their lives as well by just explaining everything about them. And then I could also ruin my life by doing the same. And that's fair on anyone. I think that's how I spelled it, right? As leveling. Yes. Okay, and then we go back here. Sorry, fucking say what you will. To the end of days, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance, at least the soundtrack is one of the best fucking video game soundtracks there is. They knew what they were fucking doing. They put in so much love into that game, and it is so good. If the controls are a little outdated, at least. I wouldn't mind playing it again. I tried to play it like a year or two ago, and fucking struggled something silly. But I wouldn't mind playing it through again. It's a fucking amazing game. I just feel shit because like if I play it through again, there's like 4 streams maybe at most. It's not a long game. Okay, alright, I think what I need to do is I need to kind of copy this, right? Wait, it's not global, all weapons is equipped, right? No, I need player weapon there. Alright. Sorry, whoops. I not equal to -1. And trigger equals okay, and then we go with this. So what I'm doing here, and I'll replicate this for the items as well. How do I best describe this? This will make it that whenever I level up, these will trigger. Now the one fault with this, and I fixed this already earlier, is when you use the item for the first time, that means that you'd theoretically have to wait till the next time it's leveled, that you level up. That's why I have a trigger event for as leveling along with when leveled over on the other one. Should make it a lot better. But this means that if you come back to it, it'll trigger before the change. Oh, that's actually bad. Now that I think about it, I need to put that into the 0. I need to put that into only level 0 version of it. Now that I think on it. Yeah, no, that needs to only trigger when it's level 0, because otherwise it's gonna trigger twice on level ups. That would get pretty obscene. Actually, no, that doesn't even really matter, does it? It's because the one I've got is, no, it would matter. No, it would be a bad thing. No. Because it would increment it slightly. Right? No, decrement slightly. I'm trying to do the maths in my head. Okay, it would remove the thing from the previous, add to the current, remove the previous and add current, so it would add a slight amount every time. Yeah, so it would be bad. I just need to add like a clause that it needs to be level 0 first. It's fine. Easy enough. That should be what I need for that. Okay, if that's the case, we need to go back here. Because I don't think anything levels up outside of stat ups. So do this. There. Because it does not live. If ability level is 0 and it's not a global thing, it just goes through. Oh no, it runs the function naturally if it's 0. I'm a fucking moron. I don't need this at all on the as leveling. In fact, I actually need this not... wait a minute. I need that, actually, now that I think about it. I think I've been getting double the collection stuff, the XP stuff. Yeah. All right. So we copy this and change this from weapons to item equip. And it's easy enough to replace by just doing this. Cool. That should make it so the mothaholic effects work consistently and reliably. And it means that I have a lot of other things that can work off the as you level thing, which I plan on doing anyways in the future. God, you know, so there's something I want to point out, right? And I want to point this out now before, like, there's possibly arguments about it in the future. So this game is inspired by holocure. That was always the case. But it's also equally as inspired by Vampire Survivors, because when I first played that game, I always knew I wanted to make a game like this. And then how things in New Zealand. I mean, we're freezing cold down here at the moment. We're actually having quite a lot of flooding issues up in Auckland, last I heard. But no, so I always knew I wanted to make a game like this when I played Vampire Survivors. I've played a lot of those sort of games. I've played a lot of them on stream as well. Now, one thing I committed to, and I think I talked about this on Yakuza streams, is that I was actually willing to do like funny little side games and mini games inside of the game. Like fishing mechanics, maybe pull just as a joke, just because I like Yakuza's energy for that, and it would be a nice test and exercise to see me be able to implement those mini games with low stress on the game. Holocure's next update is basically is adding a lot of the features that I actually wanted to add myself to this game, with like a home environment, so you have like your own space that you can customize with. You can do fishing, you can do all sorts of little fun detail, little extra things to change the run slightly, maybe to unlock a bunch of things, to do a bit of fun. That was stuff that I always intended, but it was very, very far down on the list. Very far. Like, I mean, I would probably be doing it maybe as far down the line as they did. So I want that said now, because I want to stress that my intention is not to just copy what they've done. My intention was never to copy what they've done. To be inspired, sure, but no more. I mean, you can tell that by how I intend to design Gura alone, because Gura is like, either look at Gura or look at Mume, because Mume's base weapon and base item are in the game. They're the Forgotten Poem and Anonymous Feather. So Mume's in this base weapon is it fires feathers at random targets around you. Or not random targets, the closest targets to you, kind of trying to find them, go up to a certain amount. and then when it max levels, it will return to you. But it will fire them in directions that you cannot control. It will go towards the nearest enemies. Have you played Risk World Domination? I've played a lot of Risk games. I don't know if I've played that, like if that's a specific version of it. But I have played the Risk board game a lot of times. I do love my strategy games. I don't play them much on stream, but I used to be, for Oceania, I used to be a high-end StarCraft player. Which says nothing, because Oceania didn't have a fucking scene ever. Well, not really anyway, to my understanding. There's like a couple of underground tourneys and stuff like that from time to time, and I jumped in those and did well. No, so you've got that, and then her basic passive, going back to Mume, is, I think it's on PC. Oh, okay. Oh, is it? Oh, that might be interesting. But yeah, fucking, what is it? So Mume's base weapon and base item, sorry, in this is increase experience gain and increase EXP gather range. So already, I hope from that people understand I'm not intending to copy holocure. Those are very different fucking effects to what they've done with Mume. And I don't intend to, again, copy what they've done. In fact, this feels awful. I feel like I have to make a big effort not to make a weapon that they've done. And it kind of makes me feel shit. Having to, like, actively avoid what they've done. But I'm taking more of a Vampire Survivors approach with the weapons, and making it so, sure, this is this character's a weapon equip, right? Their base weapon, but it's also a global weapon. That's something that holocure deviated from, which I think was interesting, but I felt that, like, that led to the requirement to make the main weapon scale specific ways, or the fact that, like, you would play a character despite them having a bad weapon. Gura is actually an example of that, is I do not like Gura's weapon in holocure. I think it's very disappointing for what she does, yet I absolutely adore her passive abilities. I think her Whirlpool one is by far one of the best mechanics, and then the Shark Bite one, which is like deal damage, you amp damage over time, you increase damage you deal, and then heal if they die. So it means that you can do a lot of AoE DOTs and then just scale up her damage in a massive way. I think that was a really cool idea, but I play her despite her weapon. I don't quite like that in this. I don't quite like that approach sometimes, and that's why I kind of like Vampire Survivors with having the weapons as interchangeable and as all that. So it means that your priority might be, it's on Steam. Oh, okay, I might have a look at it later. But like, yeah, no, I think it's good to have definition between the characters, which Vampire Survivors does. I do not think to enough of an extreme, which gets me to one of the things that I will intend on doing. If this is one that I don't quite know how I'm going to implement this, so keep this as kind of like conjecture, I guess, for now. Or just like me just tossing thoughts out. My intention is that the base passive of each character will only level up 3 times or so, relative, for every other character. But it will level up an additional 1 or 2 times, per se, for the character that it's intended for. It'll have unique mechanics for them as well as each character will have unique abilities that only they can obtain. The reason why that's important is because I want to like give passive effects that other characters will not have access to. Just straight up, I will not give it to any other character. So making this character, this build, makes it more feasible. So yes, that's inspired from stuff like holocure or soulstone survivors and stuff like that, taking that kind of idea that each individual character has a uniqueness to them to an extreme, versus vampire survivors, which, I mean, the most unique character that really exists out of the lot of them is Queen Sigma. Sure, the new characters that they introduced with the last DLC kind of have a lot of interesting uniqueness, like they'll drop a specific item and stuff like that at certain levels, and a bunch of effects occur. I think that was really cool. I think that was awesome. They should keep doing that. But like, that's kind of the problem, is it's just like, it's still quite narrow in what each character does differently, especially once you start getting into like the golden eggs. And again, the only reason Queen Sigma sits separate to that is she's designed to basically end the game. It's haha funny, I have the OP unkillable mode and can infinitely farm things. Like, she's unkillable basically, she has infinite rerolls, infinite banishes, infinite everything. She can pick her items as she wishes, and she gets more items than anyone else naturally. I can't be mad at that. That's a cool mechanic. Makes her interesting. She also gets a shitload of more arcanas, everything. She gets more than everyone else. She is supposed to be the pinnacle of the game. But that's the kind of the point, is like, she feels like the most unique and interesting character because she's basically broken beyond compare. Holocure did it right with making each of the characters individual, but individually unique and different, and making it feel like, based on which character you're playing, you actually could change your playstyle. Especially in the more recent updates, where weapons actually feel like they're more viable. But I do think that they shoehorned the uniqueness a little too much, going back to what I was saying. So that's where my thought comes in. To make it so each of the characters have some uniqueness, but nothing that makes them... It makes it that you can always kind of do the same things on all of the other characters, or find these interesting combinations. God, I need to do this arrow at some point. Like, this arrow makes me so sad seeing the quick sketch one that we did. But like, and Mothaholic's actually a really good example of this, right? Mothaholic has a unique interaction with Juniper. They require quite a bit to code. And that unique interaction is specifically designed to pay homage to her, which is what the item does. Right? She evolves. Whoa, I feel like I'm accelerating. Okay, I did something wrong. I did something very wrong. What the fuck did I do wrong? I removed its time source, right? I indeed did not. That would probably explain what just happened. What you saw just then was, it's scaling out of fucking control. Alright. I now need to test this, and it's easy enough to test with yourself. But yeah, no, it's supposed, it has the unique interaction that it actually changes her skin. Because the joke of Mothaholic is that she's excessively fucking overworks, and yeah, it's about right. Sounds like a fucking Hades song, just about. Jesus. Okay. God, it's really hard to collect EXP on Juniper, I'm gonna be honest. Yeah. Game still crashes when that happens. This is kind of annoying. But like, there's an argument I should make as well to like make a sprint animation going backwards. But like, good God, do you have any idea how much how long it took to make the sprint animations to begin with? Okay, so it doesn't trigger there for some reason. I know why. Yeah, I know why. Okay. Well, it's gonna kill me anyway. I can't really do much about it. Okay, Okay, so if you want to know why that's happening, so it's not like showing the level up animation until the next time you level up, it's because of the way that the functions are written. So if we go to the script for this, it triggers all of its stuff and then it'll level it up. I'm currently checking for when it levels, what level it is. So that actually causes a problem. So I think maybe I do have to increment the level at an earlier stage in this event for stuff. it there. Okay, if I do that, then it'll be fine. Or it should be fine now. Yes, I am doing all of that for just one thing, because this isn't the only thing I have to intend it to kind of function like this. So to have other things not work that way would not work. Get a little bit of extra health. Because again, demon blood does not work properly, and I need to fix that. This weapon does have like some very clear problems, and I'm wondering if I really need to actually fix them. Right, so if you're wondering what I mean by clear problems, the angle at which everything works with it. I gotta pick up the Satanic Resilience, and even though the other one would have given me the test. So I need to test the other one as well. Forgotten Poem works. I feel like I should just delete numbers when pause menu occurs. What do you think? Because like I've tried a lot to make them work, and it just doesn't feel like they work. Like to make it better with the layers. With the depth of stuff. Like it just, I don't think I can make it work the way I want it to. Because see, like, too many of them mean that it comes up here. Didn't work. If it triggers when I level up, then something's weird. Oh, I think I know what happens. Yeah, it just triggered then. Because it doesn't actually have a level 0 effect. Yeah, okay. Should I make it not have gravity? Do we think that's probably one of the biggest problems with it? Have not gravity and then make it spit out in more specific directions. So now if I level up again, I should get to the next form. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay, oh, that's not where I need to do it. Actually, that's a good point. Hmm. No, this is a really bad idea. Okay. So, I'm going to explain what's kind of going on in my head right now. And it's a realization I've had. Right now, I'm decreasing and then increasing, which means I'm making even less of an actual margin. This is actually really fucking bad. Now, mind you, this only affects cooldown reduction. There's a way I can do this, and I'm wondering if I want to do that because it breaks it away from the mold. It might be wise. No, I don't need to because it's going to default. Cool. Alright, yes. Then that just means I need to, inside of here, do that. And then that means I can remove actually this, can I remove that? No. Maybe do it differently. Okay, I have an idea. Okay, this looks very confusing, but this is something I'm going to have to do for all of these sorts of things in the future. I'm getting harassed by my other cat. Give me a second. But I'm in the office. All right. There we go, and he's jumped onto my lap, of course. Smelly boy. Oh, shut up, you. Alright, okay. Right, so 2 equals this. God, I'm fucking... I'm struggling so much with my brain. Alright, anyway, I don't know if you can hear my cat, by the way. He's been fucking loud as shit. Okay, this should work now. Alright. Actually, no, I should double check something before I continue with this. Because it doesn't have anything. Yeah. Cool. Okay. And yes, by the way, I could just dev console the level ups, but I prefer to do it this way just to make sure it's working as exactly as I intend it to. Yeah, I just one-shot the boss of that, by the way. I know why, too. It's because each of the particles have a different... are separate, so therefore, if it stands on top of me at the moment it casts, it gets hit by all of them. So, not good. Okay, I get the level up. I definitely have more speed. Cooldown's really hard to notice, by the way, because it is like a very minor amount that it changes it by. Like, I know I need to change this moth goop weapon, though. It needs to be improved. I don't think that's, like, up for debate anymore, is it? Just because the way it plays is really awkward. Or at least it feels awkward to me. Oh no. This is where I'd be open to suggestions if someone has an idea, like, hey, make it do this, make it do that. Like, I still want it to be, the idea is that it sends out a bunch of little orbs that apply a DOT. One thought I've even had is actually just removing damage from the orb and making it completely DOT, but that felt really bad. Because that was what it was actually originally. God, you know what was funny to me, right? So someone that was reviewing the game for me, like kind of playing and telling me some responses. They're like, did you know that you can go off the side of the map? I'm like, yeah, because I haven't actually made a map yet. Oh, well, that's not a good thing to do. And it's like, yeah, it's because it's low in priority for me. I prefer to have the gameplay loop working before I have the map working. Because I have big intentions of the map, and that's going to take a long time to implement, and I'll need to focus on it. I prefer to have the game make sure to be working at that stage. Yeah, I think I need to remove gravity from it. And I think maybe making it so it goes at set angles. Or if no, I could reduce gravity from it. Yeah, I could reduce the gravity, like, substantially. How's that feel? Feels a bit more poof, but like, again, because it's picking out random angles, it still feels really cruddy. But yeah, we did fix the problem at least. Welcome to what my dev cycles look like. It's me play the game, fix one thing, and then go like, shit, I need to fix another thing. I'm sure that's what it's like for a lot of other developers, by the way. But yeah, no, the most broken thing in this game would be a meta progression for healing. I'm gonna be honest at this point. Give all my characters like just fucking plus 2 health per second. Oh. That'd be insane. But yeah, so right now it basically picks a random range. I think I need to make an answer for that. Like, to solve that problem. Because, so, the unique nature of this, weapon is it actually doubles the amount that you gain. So like in Vampire Survivors, you can get +1 amount, +2 amount, yada yada yada. This weapon, if you get +1 amount, it will +2 projectiles. That is the one of the unique traits of this specific weapon, and that is intended. It is to kind of like give benefit to a lot of things. That's why, like, at the moment, because I don't have a way of status stacking, not easily, then I could. There could be, there is an answer. And it mean, I don't like the idea of doing that answer. It would require making a dynamic array list that triggers all of its things and then make it so it can fill and defill easier. I could do that. I'm gonna write a note. Like, the only reason why I haven't wanted to do a dynamic status array is because I wanted to kind of have a little bit of control over like slow effects. Because if I do it that way, it then means that I have no guidance as to, like, if you apply a strong slow, then a slow, if you apply a small slow, then a strong slow. If I had a control environment, which means only one of those, they will both go in there, but they are set, then it means that then I can make it that the heavy slow attaches first, and the smaller slow attaches second. Which means that you're multiplying off each other, but in a good way. If I have it dynamic, I don't know a good way to make that occur, so it would mean that potentially if you applied the small slow first, then the large slow is actually less than it would have been. But maybe that is just the correct answer, just to make a dynamic list. Because then that way we can apply multiple, which if we can apply multiple, then I shouldn't need base damage for the Mothaholic, and area would scale on it insanely. Especially if an enemy's on top of you, is because then you just hit it with all of the effects once, and then it's like however many amount fired is how many DOTs that you just applied, and that's a lot. I could do that. I know how to do it roughly, but it's just like I do not know a way of making it ordered. I need to make a system for that if I do that, I think. All right, we're probably getting up to a point where I should probably wrap up. I know that in a sense we didn't actually have that much progress. Again, that's kind of what I expected. That's what these programming streams are going to be like a lot now is... Fuck, I held it for as long as I could. By the way, I'm actually really sick this morning. Oh, God. Sorry. Give me a moment. Okay. The stream progression is going to be very slow. I got a little bit of work done on the weekend, like I said, cleaning up some errors that I had from classmates and lecturers. Aside from that, it's going to basically be this coming weekend. I don't think I'm going to get any work done on this because I have another little project I kind of want to toss out quickly. And I'm going to say this plainly. I have another game I want to develop that's going to be really, really low requirement to make. And I'm going to make it just because it could potentially make a little pittance of money off to the side with ad revenue. That is it. I will make that, I will slap it out, and I'm gonna hopefully get it done over the weekend. The only reason why that might not be the case is because it will take that long to make the assets as well. But I will pretty much be making a game from the ground up very, very quickly over this weekend. Maybe a few weekends after that as well if I need to. But I will be keep working on this on stream. So that means there is a good shout that, again, next week, if I do another programming stream, there might not be any progress. Oh, pardon me. Also, keep in mind, next week is going to be a nightmare for me because I have a lot of work. I will be working quite a lot. Good lord. Because I've got a lot of job stuff and I'm going to be missing out on lectures as well. So it means that I'm going to be very stressed out. I'm saying that now because... there is a good shout that if I feel overburdened by the end of the weekend, I might not stream for the first 3 days next week, and I might make a stream on the weekend, for example, to compensate for that, and then that's it. Then I will go back to normal. But that is depending on how things go. I need money. It is what it is. So, I think that will be everything for today. So with that being the case, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, consider leaving a like or a comment on the video. It'd be very much appreciated. I hope you follow along with this project because this is actually a project I'm really, really passionate about. And I'm really enjoying working on it. It may not seem it at moments. I may seem a bit frazzled and stressed. But I really do genuinely enjoy making this game and even playing what I can of it. I think it's really, really fun. No bias at all. I made the game. Yeah, no, it's definitely fun, guys. I just think that, like, one of the biggest things that's missing is sound. The next biggest thing is, a way to end the game. A way to win and a way to lose. But aside from that, like, I genuinely think the game is on a really good path. That's why I'd love to knock it out this month, but I'm gonna say now, there is no way I'm releasing a copy of this game before the month is out, like I said. I will say when mid-semester break comes around, there's a good shout I finish it then, depending on this other game that I'm working on as well. Because I need to make some avenues of income, because things are going to get more complex for me going forward. So, to finalize though, once again, thank you so much for watching. You're awesome. Stay awesome. And follow me over on X, because that's a fucking thing now. Till next time, bye-bye.